Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today we are exploring a fascinating piece of American currency that has recently gained viral attention across the internet. The 1965 Washington Quarter. You might have seen articles, videos, or social media posts claiming that one of these quarters sold for as much as $1.9 million. That is right. A simple 25-cent coin, supposedly worth nearly $2 million. But is that even possible? What makes the 1965 quarter special? And more importantly, could you be holding one of these valuable coins in your pocket right now? Rarest Coins, stick with me, because in this video we are going to cover everything you need to know about the 1965 Washington Quarter. We will dive into its history, how it changed American coinage forever, what versions are rare and valuable, and whether or not any 1965 quarter could actually be worth $1.9 million. Let's begin with the history. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. It quickly became a regular part of American coin circulation and featured a design by John Flanagan. For decades, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But that all changed in the mid-1960s, BY 1964. The United States was experiencing a nationwide coin shortage. People were hoarding silver coins because the value of silver was rising. In response, the U.S. government passed legislation to eliminate silver from dimes and quarters. That is how we ended up with the 1965 Washington Quarter, which marked the first year the quarter was made without any silver at all. The 1965 quarter was made using a copper-nickel clad composition. That means it has a pure copper core with outer layers of copper and nickel. This new composition was lighter and cheaper to produce, and allowed the mint to stop using precious metals in everyday coins. The 1965 quarter weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. Now here is something important to remember. The 1965 Washington Quarter was produced in extremely large numbers. Over 1.8 billion quarters were struck that year. And to prevent coin hoarding during the changeover, the U.S. Mint removed mint marks from all quarters between 1965 and 1967. So even though some were made in Denver and some in Philadelphia, none of the quarters from those years include a mint mark. So what does that mean for collectors today? It means that the vast majority of 1965 quarters are very common. In circulated condition, most are only worth face value. That is just 25 cents. Even in lightly worn or average circulated condition, they might only sell for $1 or $2 to a beginner collector. But of course, that is not the whole story. There are a few rare exceptions that can make the 1965 Washington Quarter extremely valuable. And in very specific and rare situations, a coin from this year could be worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So let's look at those cases and address the truth behind the famous $1.9 million story. First, let's talk about condition. Coins that were never used in circulation are known as mint state coins. They have a grading scale that ranges from MS60 to MS70. The higher the grade, the more perfect the coin. A 1965 quarter graded MS67 can sell for around $100 to $200. A 1965 quarter graded MS68 or higher is much rarer and could sell for over $1,000. But the most valuable 1965 quarters are those with serious mint errors. One of the most well-known rare varieties is the 1965 silver planchet quarter. Remember how I said that quarters used to be made of 90% silver before 1965? Well, during the transition to the new copper-nickel planchets, a few leftover silver blanks were accidentally used to strike some 1965 quarters. These are not supposed to exist, but a small number of silver 1965 quarters have been confirmed. You can identify one of these by its weight. A standard-clad 1965 quarter weighs 5.67 grams, but the silver version weighs about 6.25 grams. If you find a 1965 quarter and it feels heavier than usual or sounds different when dropped, it might be worth testing. Some of these silver transitional error quarters have sold for thousands of dollars at auction. One sold for over $7,000. Another example sold for more than $9,000. And in nearly perfect uncirculated condition, a silver 1965 quarter could possibly break into five-figure territory. So, is there a 1965 quarter worth $1.9 million? As of today, no verified sale has ever reached that amount. The $1.9 million figure you may have seen online is not supported by any major auction house, numismatic organization, or grading service. There are no official records from PCGS, NGC, Heritage Auctions, or any other reputable source confirming a sale anywhere near that amount for a 1965 quarter. It is most likely a rumor or exaggeration created by clickbait headlines designed to attract attention. These kinds of videos or articles often show a picture of a normal 1965 quarter and claim it is worth over $1 million without providing any actual evidence. It is important to approach those claims with caution and focus on facts backed by real data. That said, it is absolutely true that rare error coins, silver planchet mistakes, and high-grade mint state examples from 1965 can be worth real money. While most 1965 quarters are not rare, the small number of mistakes and transitional pieces from that year continue to attract serious interest from collectors. So what should you do if you have a 1965 quarter? First, check the condition. If it is very sharp, shiny, and shows no signs of wear, you might have a mint state example worth grading. Second, weigh the coin if you can. A weight of around 6.2 grams might indicate a silver planchet. You can use a digital scale with precision to check this. Third, listen to the sound. Silver coins have a distinctly different ring than clad coins. And finally, if you believe you might have a rare version, contact a professional coin dealer or grading service. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC can certify the authenticity and condition of your coin, which is essential if you want to sell it for top dollar. Without professional verification, it is hard to prove what you have to serious buyers. Let's wrap this up. The 1965 Washington quarter is a historic coin that marked a turning point in American coinage. While most examples are common and worth just 25 cents, there are rare and valuable versions out there. Silver transitional errors, rare mint states, and dramatic mint mistakes can all increase the value significantly. But the idea that any 1965 quarter has sold for $1.9 million is simply not true. It is a myth that continues to spread through social media, but it has no basis in actual numismatic records. Thank you for watching. I hope this video helped separate fact from fiction and gave you the tools to better understand what makes some coins valuable. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss our latest coin updates and collecting tips. And if you have found any unusual quarters or think you have a rare coin, let us know in the comments. Until next time, keep checking your change, stay curious, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like this split into visual segments, converted into captions, or supported with SEO-friendly thumbnail ideas and title variations for YouTube growth. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins. In today's video, we are going to take a deep dive into a coin that has been making headlines lately, the 1967 Washington quarter. Some people online are claiming that this coin is worth as much as $1.8 million. That's right, one coin, one quarter, worth more than a Lamborghini or even some homes. But is it true? Can a simple quarter from 1967 really be worth that much money? Or is it just another internet myth? We're going to uncover the truth behind these claims. We'll look at the real history of the 1967 quarter, why it's important in the world of coin collecting, how much it's actually worth, and whether or not there's any chance your pocket change could be hiding a small fortune. Let's start with the history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design features his profile on the front, or obverse, and for decades the reverse featured an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches underneath. That reverse remained unchanged until the state quarters began rolling out in 1999. Now the 1967 Washington quarter came at a very unique time in U.S. coinage history. In the mid-1960s, the United States was going through a serious coin shortage. Silver prices had skyrocketed, and people were hoarding coins left and right. To fight this problem, the U.S. Mint removed silver from dimes and quarters starting in 1965. So the 1967 quarter is one of the early coins in this new non-silver era. Instead of being made from 90% silver like quarters before 1965, the 1967 quarter was made from a clad composition. That means it's made of a copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. It weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. You'll notice there is no mint mark on this coin. That's because from 1965 to 1967, the U.S. Mint intentionally left off mint marks to discourage coin hoarding during the shortage. Oh, how many 1967 quarters were made? A lot. Over 1.5 billion of them. That makes the 1967 quarter one of the most common Washington quarters ever produced. With that much supply, most circulated examples are worth only face value, just 25 cents. But that's not the whole story. Like with any coin, there are exceptions that can make the value go way up. One of the key factors is condition. If you have a 1967 quarter that was never used in circulation and has been preserved in perfect or near-perfect condition, you might have something valuable. These are known as mint state coins, and they are graded on a scale from MS-60 to MS-70. Coins graded MS-67 or higher are especially rare for this year. In fact, a 1967 Washington quarter graded MS-67 by PCGS once sold at auction for over $2,000. That's a far cry from $1 million, but it's still a huge return on a 25-cent piece. Coins graded MS-68 or above are extremely rare and have been known to sell for even more. What about the rumors of a $1.8 million quarter? Is it real? The short answer is no. There is no verified record of any 1967 quarter selling for anything close to that amount. There are no auction house results, no certified grading reports, no professional numismatic sources that support that number. So where does it come from? Unfortunately, the internet is full of misleading headlines. Some people post videos or articles with eye-catching titles just to get clicks and views. They might take an image of a regular 1967 quarter and pair it with a headline like "Rare 1967 quarter worth $1.8 million." But when you read the fine print or look at the actual data, there's no sale, no evidence, just hype. That said, there are rare error coins from 1967 that can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Let's talk about those for a second. One of the most valuable kinds of 1967 quarters are those with mint errors. These are coins that were misstruck or have some unusual flaw that occurred during production at the mint. Some examples include double die errors, where the coin appears to have doubled images on the lettering or numbers, off-center strikes, where the design is shifted to one side, or clipped planchets, where part of the coin is actually missing. There are even a few examples of transitional errors, where a coin is struck on a blank from a different year or metal type. If you have a 1967 quarter with one of these rare errors, it could definitely be worth more than face value. Some error coins from 1967 have sold for hundreds of dollars. In extremely rare cases, they can go for a few thousand depending on how dramatic and well-preserved the error is. Let's recap. The 1967 Washington quarter is a common coin in most cases. It was made during a historic time in U.S. minting history and marked the early days of the non-silver era. Over 1.5 billion were made, and most are only worth 25 cents. However, if your coin is in exceptional condition or has a rare mint error, it could be worth significantly more. Coins graded MS-67 or MS-68 can be worth hundreds or even a few $1,000s. And error coins can add another layer of value. But the idea that any 1967 quarter is worth $1.8 million is simply not supported by facts. There is no known sale, no auction record, and no certified example of such a coin bringing in that kind of money. If you have a 1967 quarter and you're curious about its value, the best thing you can do is examine it closely. Look at the condition. Check for errors. Compare it to graded examples online. And if you think it might be something special, consider sending it in to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Coin collecting is an amazing hobby. It's a window into history, a chance to discover hidden treasures, and sometimes, yes, it can be financially rewarding. But it's important to stay grounded in the truth and not get swept up in viral myths that aren't backed by real evidence. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Let me know in the comments if you found any interesting quarters in your own change. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and happy collecting. If you'd like, I can help turn this script into a full storyboard for your YouTube video, complete with suggested visuals, voiceover tips, or background music ideas. Just let me know. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going deep into the world of coins to talk about one specific piece that's been making headlines and raising eyebrows across the internet. It's the 1994 D. Washington quarter. Now you might have seen posts or videos claiming this quarter is worth a staggering $1.2 million. But is that true, or is it just another coin collecting myth? Stick with me as we explore the real history of this coin, what it's actually worth, and whether you should be checking your pocket change. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a mainstay in American currency since it was first introduced in 1932. It was originally designed by John Flanagan to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Over the decades, the design has seen changes, but the 1994 version still features Washington's classic profile on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse. Now, the 1994 D. Washington quarter was minted in Denver, and the D mint mark can be seen just below the wreath on the reverse side. This particular year and mint location produced a massive number of coins. Over 880 million of these quarters were struck by the Denver Mint alone. That makes it a very common coin in circulation. So how does a coin minted in such high numbers become the subject of million-dollar rumors? Here's the thing. Most 1994 D quarters are worth only their face value, 25 cents. Even those in pretty decent condition might only sell for $1 or $2 to a casual collector. The real value starts to show when you have a coin that's in pristine, uncirculated condition. These are known as mint state coins, and they're graded on a scale from MS-60 all the way up to MS-70. A 1994 D. Washington quarter graded MS-65 might be worth around $10 to $25. If you go up to MS-66, you might be looking at values between $70 to $100. At MS-67, that's where things start to get interesting. Some rare examples of 1994 D quarters graded MS-67 have sold for as much as $1,500 at auction. That's a lot more than face value, but still nowhere near $1.2 million. So where did this million-dollar myth come from? Well, in recent years, a lot of online content has gone viral by claiming that common coins are worth incredible amounts of money. Sometimes these posts use misleading information or flat-out incorrect claims just to get attention. In the case of the 1994 D quarter, there's no verified auction or record of any coin from that year and mint selling for $1.2 million. None. Not a single listing in reputable coin auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers comes close to that price for this coin. Now, that doesn't mean rare coins can't be worth a fortune. There are certain coins in U.S. history that are genuinely worth millions due to historical significance, mint errors, or extremely low mintage. But the 1994 D quarter is not one of them. However, there are ways a 1994 D quarter can be worth more than face value, and that's when mint errors come into play. Mint errors are mistakes made during the coin's production that result in unusual or unique features. These can include things like off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or coins struck on the wrong type of metal blank. These error coins are highly collectible and can sell for much more than regular coins. For example, a 1994 D quarter with a major off-center error could be worth $50 to a few $100 depending on how dramatic the error is. A coin struck on a dime planchet could fetch several $100s. A missing clad layer, where the top layer of the coin is missing and you see a copper core instead, could also be quite valuable, sometimes selling for over $100. But again, none of these are hitting $1.2 million. So what should you do if you have a 1994 D. Washington quarter? First, check the condition. Is it worn, or does it look like it just came from the mint? If it looks uncirculated, it might be worth having it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Second, examine it closely for any unusual features. If you see doubling in the lettering or the date, strange shapes, or off-center images, you might have an error coin on your hands. Those can be worth a premium. If you're serious about collecting or selling, consider investing in a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Also, take clear photos of your coin in good lighting and reach out to reputable coin dealers or auction houses. The coin collecting community is full of knowledgeable people who can help you understand exactly what you have at the end of the day. The 1994 D. Washington quarter is a great example of how a common coin can still be interesting and potentially valuable under the right circumstances. But it's important to separate fact from fiction. There is no proof that any 1994 D quarter has sold for $1.2 million. That claim is a myth, most likely created to generate clicks and views. But that doesn't mean these coins are worthless either. If you've got one in high grade or with an unusual error, it could still be worth more than you think the next time you get change from the store or dig through your old coin jar. Take a second look at those quarters. You might not be holding a $1 million coin, but you could still have something that tells a unique story or adds value to your collection. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content on coin values, collecting tips, and the fascinating history behind the coins in your pocket. Until next time, happy collecting and keep checking your change. Let me know if you'd like this adapted for voiceover tone, converted to subtitles, or edited into segments for visuals. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you are into coins or just curious about the change sitting in your pocket right now, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Today, we are diving into a very specific coin that has been the center of a lot of attention lately. The 1992 D Washington quarter. There are online claims floating around saying this coin is worth as much as $1.3 million. That is right. A 25-cent coin supposedly worth more than most people's homes. But is it true? Can a 1992 D quarter really be that valuable? Or is this just another internet myth? We are going to get into the full story behind this coin. We will talk about its history, what makes it special, what it is really worth, and what you should be looking for if you have one of these in your collection or your pocket change. Let's start from the beginning. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse features a left-facing portrait of Washington, while the reverse traditionally shows an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath. This classic design remained in use all the way up until the launch of the state quarters in 1999. Now, let's talk about the 1992 D specifically. The D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the major mints in the United States. In 1992, the Denver Mint produced over 288 million Washington quarters. That is a huge number, which means the majority of 1992 D quarters you find in circulation today are common. In average condition, they are worth just 25 cents. Even in slightly better shape, most are only worth a few cents or maybe $1 to collectors. Where does the idea of this coin being worth $1.3 million come from? This is where things get interesting. The internet is full of videos and articles with eye-catching headlines like Rare 1992 D quarter worth $1.3 million. These stories often show images of regular quarters and make wild claims without any actual evidence. As of today, there is no public auction, no verified sale, and no numismatic record that confirms any 1992 D Washington quarter has sold for $1.3 million. None. Why does this myth exist? It probably stems from a few rare cases of error coins or extremely high-grade examples that have fetched premium prices. But those sales are nowhere near $1.3 million. Let's talk about what really does make a 1992 D quarter valuable. First and foremost, condition is key. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, and coins that have never been circulated and have no visible wear are called mint state. A 1992 D quarter graded MS66 or MS67 can bring in a decent amount of money. For example, a verified MS67 grade quarter from 1992 D has sold for around $1,000 at auction. That is impressive, but still a long way from $1 million. Now here is where things get even more interesting. Some coins from 1992 have been found with rare mint errors or varieties. One of the most well-known and valuable varieties from 1992 is actually from the Lincoln Cent series, known as the Close AM variety. But for the Washington quarter, there are still some rare errors that can make your coin valuable. For example, coins with double die obverse errors, off-center strikes, missing clad layers, or coins struck on the wrong planchet can all be worth much more than face value. A 1992 D quarter with a dramatic off-center strike could be worth $50 to $200. A quarter missing its outer clad layer that shows the copper core might fetch up to $100 or more. If you happen to find a 1992 D quarter that was struck on a dime planchet or has a double strike, You could be looking at values in the multiple hundreds or possibly thousands, depending on the rarity and condition. While most 1992 D quarters are common, there are certain situations where they can be worth real money. But let me be clear, these are the exceptions, not the rule. Most of the quarters minted in 1992 at the Denver Mint are only worth face value. Even those in uncirculated condition may only sell for a few bucks unless they are graded extremely high or have a rare error. If you think you have a valuable 1992 D quarter, here is what you should do. First, examine the coin closely. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to check for errors. Look for any signs of doubling, off-center designs, missing layers, or anything that looks out of the ordinary. If the coin appears to be in excellent condition with no signs of wear, consider sending it in to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A high grade from one of these services can dramatically increase a coin's value and make it easier to sell to collectors or through auctions. Also, check reputable coin value websites and auction records to compare your coin with others that have sold. Do not rely on viral videos or clickbait articles that throw around big numbers without any real proof. Now let's quickly recap everything. The 1992 D Washington quarter was minted in massive quantities, and most of them are worth only 25 cents. There is no confirmed record of any 1992 D quarter selling for $1.3 million. However, rare high-grade examples and coins with mint errors can be worth significantly more. Some have sold for hundreds or even over $1,000. But these are rare exceptions. So, if you have a 1992 D quarter, take a closer look at it. You probably do not have a $1,000,000 coin, but you might have something worth hanging on to or even grading. And even if it is only worth a quarter, the real value is in learning the history and understanding what makes certain coins so special. Thanks for watching. I hope this video helped clear up the myths and reveal the truth about the 1992 D Washington quarter. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Let us know in the comments if you have found any rare or interesting quarters in your change. Until next time, keep checking your pockets and happy collecting. Let me know if you want a version broken into segments for visuals, subtitles, or voiceover pacing. I can also help create a thumbnail title or intro hook line. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video dives into a coin that's been making waves online lately. The 2007 D quarter. That's right, a simple quarter minted in 2007 at the Denver Mint is at the center of some wild rumors, with people claiming that one of these coins sold for a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. But is there any truth to this claim? Could a coin you might have in your pocket right now really be worth that much money? In this video, we're going to uncover the full story behind the 2007 D quarter. We'll talk about its background, production, value in the current coin market, and the rare varieties that can actually be worth big money. And of course, we'll also address that $1.1 million headline and find out whether it's real or just another internet myth. Let's start with the basics. In 2007, the United States Mint was deep into the popular state quarters program. This massive coin initiative began in 1999 and ran through 2008, with 5 new state-themed quarters released each year. The program was designed to honor all 50 states with unique reverse designs. Each quarter still featured George Washington on the front, or obverse, but the back of the coin changed to represent a different state and its culture, history, or landmarks. In 2007, 5 state quarters were released. They were Montana, Washington, Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. If your quarter has a 2007 date and AD Mint mark, that means it was struck at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint produced millions of each of the 5 quarters released that year. To give you an idea of how many were made, here are a few mintage numbers. Over 514 million Montana quarters were minted at Denver. Idaho had about 322 million. Utah had around 252 million. These are not small numbers. So right off the bat, most 2007 D quarters are common and still only worth 25 cents in circulated condition. But as always, there's more to the story. While most of these coins are common, there are certain factors that can boost their value significantly. These include condition, mint errors, and extremely rare varieties that sometimes slip through the cracks during the minting process. Let's break these down. First up is condition. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, and uncirculated coins are classified as mint state. If you have a 2007 D quarter that has never been used in circulation and still has its original mint luster, it could be worth more than face value. For example, a 2007 D Utah quarter graded mint state 68 by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC could sell for $50 to $100 or more at auction. Coins in mint state 69 or higher are extremely rare and can bring in hundreds depending on the specific state and market demand. Next, let's talk about error coins. This is where things get really interesting. The US Mint produces billions of coins every year, and while the process is highly controlled, mistakes do happen. These mint errors can make a coin rare and valuable. Some of the most valuable errors include double die errors, off-center strikes, coins struck on the wrong planchet, or coins with missing elements. That a well-known example from the State Quarters series includes quarters struck on nickel planchets or struck with missing clad layers, giving the coin a reddish or coppery appearance. Others include die cracks, cuds, and broad strikes. These kinds of errors can push the value of a 2007 D quarter well beyond its face value. Depending on the severity and clarity of the error, some of these coins have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now, you're probably wondering, what about the $1.1 million claim? Is it real? The truth is, no 2007 D quarter has ever been verified to sell for $1.1 million. There is no record of such a sale through any major auction house. No certified grading company like PCGS or NGC has documented a $1 million sale for any quarter from 2007. The $1 million claim is almost certainly the result of viral misinformation, clickbait articles, or sensationalized social media posts that pair an ordinary coin with an extraordinary story. Unfortunately, these kinds of headlines get a lot of attention but often lack evidence or any reference to real sales data. They may show a regular 2007 D quarter and throw out a price tag in the millions just to generate clicks. As always, when it comes to coins, trust the facts, not the hype. That being said, there are still some legitimate high-value 2007 D quarters out there, and it's possible to find valuable coins in your pocket change if you know what to look for. So what should you do if you have a 2007 D quarter? First, identify the state on the reverse side. Look at its condition. Is it shiny and free from scratches or wear? If so, you may have a high-grade mint state coin. Next, examine it closely for any unusual features. Are the letters doubled? Is the design off-center? Is part of the coin missing? Does it look oddly thin or unusually thick? These could all be signs of a mint error, which can significantly raise the coin's value. That if you think you have something special, the next step is to have it examined by a professional. A grading service like PCGS or NGC can authenticate the coin, assign it a grade, and help you understand its potential market value. Collectors and dealers are much more willing to pay top dollar for coins that are certified and graded by a reputable source. Let's do a quick recap before we wrap up. The 2007 D Washington quarter is part of the popular State Quarters series and was produced in huge numbers. In circulated condition, most of these coins are worth just 25 cents. However, high-grade mint state coins and rare mint errors can sell for much more, sometimes into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But the idea that a 2007 D quarter sold for $1.1 million is simply not true. There is no verified record of such a sale, and the claim is most likely the result of viral misinformation. That being said, coin collecting is full of surprises, and rare coins do turn up in everyday change. So it is always worth taking a closer look. You never know what you might find. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative or interesting, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Leave a comment down below and let us know if you have ever found a rare or valuable coin in your change. Until next time, keep looking, stay curious, and happy collecting. Would you like help turning this into a visual storyboard or need a shorter version for YouTube Shorts or TikTok? I can also help with an SEO-optimized title and thumbnail text to boost engagement. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to take a close look at one of the most talked about coins in recent years, the 1997 P. Washington quarter. You may have seen videos or articles claiming that this coin is worth up to $1.2 million. That is right. A regular-looking quarter that some say could be worth more than a mansion or a luxury car. But is there any truth to this claim? Can a 25-cent coin from 1997 really make you a millionaire overnight? In this video, we are going to explore the full story behind the 1997 P. Washington quarter. We will cover its history, production, current market value, rare error versions, and what you should be looking for if you want to know whether your coin could be worth a fortune. We will also uncover the truth behind the viral $1 million price tag and whether any coin from this year and mint actually comes close. Let's begin with a little history. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932. It was originally designed by sculptor John Flanagan to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. The front of the coin, known as the obverse, features a left-facing bust of Washington. The reverse side, for most of the coin's life until 1999, shows an eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches beneath it. This classic design was used for decades until the state quarter program began at the end of the 1990s. The year 1997 was actually the second to last year before the massive changes that came with the state quarters in 1999. At the time, the quarter was still struck using the traditional copper-nickel clad composition, which means it has a core of copper and outer layers made of a copper-nickel alloy. The weight of the coin is 5.67 grams, and its diameter is 24.3 millimeters. The 1997 P. Washington quarter was minted in Philadelphia, which is identified by the letter P on the coin, located just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse. That year, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 451 million quarters. So by every measure, the 1997 P is a very common coin in circulation. So now comes the big question. Why is this coin being talked about as if it is worth over $1 million? The truth is, there is no verified record of a 1997 P quarter ever selling for anything close to $1.2 million. The rumor most likely comes from misleading social media posts, exaggerated clickbait headlines, and videos that use hype to get attention. These claims often show a standard quarter and pair it with dramatic music and eye-catching titles saying it is worth a fortune, but they rarely offer any actual proof. That said, there are some specific circumstances where a 1997 P quarter can be worth more than face value. Let's talk about what really makes a coin like this valuable. First is the condition. Coins that have never been used in circulation and have no were known as mint state coins. These are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin with no flaws visible under magnification. Most circulated 1997 P quarters are only worth their face value of 25 cents. But high-grade uncirculated examples can sell for more. A 1997 P quarter graded MS66 might sell for around $10 to $25. If it is graded MS67, it could be worth as much as $100 or even $200 depending on the coin market at the time. MS68 examples are very rare, and one of those could possibly sell for several $100s or more at auction. But again, these are rare and must be professionally graded by companies like PCGS or NGC to fetch that kind of price. Now let's talk about the real stars of the coin world. Mint errors. Some of the most valuable coins are those that left the mint with something wrong. These are called error coins, and the 1997 P quarter does have a few known errors that can boost its value. For example, a double die error occurs when the coin is struck more than once by the same die, resulting in a noticeable doubling of letters or numbers. If you have a 1997 P quarter with doubling on the word Liberty or the date, it could be worth a few $100s or more depending on the severity and condition. Another type of error is an off-center strike. That is when the coin was not properly aligned during the minting process and part of the design is missing. The more off-center it is while still showing the date and mint mark, the more valuable it can be. Some of these have sold for $50 to $150. Then there are coins with missing clad layers. This happens when the nickel coating on the outside of the coin is missing and you see a copper surface instead. These errors can range from $50 to $300 based on condition and appearance. Coins struck on the wrong planchet are among the rarest and most valuable errors. That means a quarter was accidentally struck on a blank mint for a different denomination, like a nickel or a dime. These kinds of errors are extremely rare, but when they happen, they can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to so, while most 1997 P quarters are common and worth only 25 cents. There are a few rare examples that can be worth real money. High-grade mint state coins and verified mint errors are where the value lies. Let's now return to the million-dollar question. Is there a 1997 P Washington quarter worth $1.2 million? As of today, no. There is no documentation from any major auction house like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers that supports such a sale. No professional grading service has listed a 1997 P quarter with a seven-figure value. The $1.2 million figure is a myth, most likely created by social media exaggeration. It is important to base your coin values on facts, certified sales records, and trusted sources in the numismatic world. So what should you do if you have a 1997 P quarter? First, look at its condition. Is it circulated and worn down? Or is it sharp, clean, and possibly uncirculated? Then examine it closely for any unusual features like doubling, off-center strikes, or discoloration that might indicate a missing clad layer. If you think your coin is something special, consider having it graded professionally. And always compare it to verified sales and real market data before assuming you've hit the jackpot. To wrap things up, the 1997 P Washington quarter is a great coin to learn from. It is common, yes, but it is also part of a fascinating period in U.S. coinage. While most examples are not worth much, some in exceptional condition or with rare errors can sell for significant premiums. But no, there is no confirmed case of one ever selling for $1.2 million. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into coin values, rare finds, and collecting tips. Leave a comment and let us know if you have found anything rare in your pocket change. Until next time, keep your eyes open and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like to add visuals, voiceover pacing, or cut it into segments for a short form or multi-part series. I can also help with SEO titles and thumbnails to get the video ranked higher.